Imagine you were just told you're about to die. Will your whole body seize up? Will your legs go cold? What would you say? Maybe there's nothing to say. Maybe there's so much. Maybe your mouth can't even move either way. Your brain is racing, your heart is pounding. Sweat is dripping off your face. Your body feels weightless. Your mind starts asking morbid questions. Will there be nothing but black? Will my consciousness cease to exist? Will my body be nothing but a rotting corpse? Will you become overwhelmed with emotion? Now other people are finding out. What is it that you're going to tell them? What will you tell those that you love? Those that might need you? Maybe you already know. Or maybe you don't. And when you finally know what to say, it's already too late. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the first television series that was set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or better known as the MCU, sharing continuity with the films and even in some cases pushing plot points into place for a few of the films itself. It was a show that starred Clark Gregg reprising his role as Phil Coulson, who previously appeared in Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, and the very first Avengers film, where his character was met with an unfortunate end by the god of mischief himself, Loki. Director Joss Whedon loved the character in Gregg so much that he brought him back in the show and made him the main character, starting the show that we are discussing today. I'm gonna be honest, I disliked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know this sounds weird, then why am I making a video about it? It's because I learned to love it, and I mean fucking love it. Earlier last year during the lockdown, when we were all waiting around for new media to consume, there wasn't much of it. And I kept rewatching the MCU films and was getting bored because I've seen them all so many times. And I didn't feel like I had anything more to learn about these movies that I didn't already know. The only thing left to do was wait for more MCU projects to come along and satisfy my craving. And then I rewatched Daredevil, which I usually try to do every year. I love that show so much. And I remember when the show came out way back in 2015, I had to secretly download Netflix on my Wii that was connected to my small 8-inch little box TV and had to use a friend's account to sneak watch the show because I had an overprotective mother who definitely would have not wanted me to watch that show. And after my second watch of Daredevil that year, I realized I've never watched any of the other Netflix MCU shows except for season 1 of Jessica Jones. It hit me that there were 11 other entire shows besides Daredevil that were set in the MCU that I didn't even watch. And I was like, how am I such a fan of this franchise? And I've never tried to watch the other shows outside of Daredevil. So I decided in order to fulfill my MCU craving, I was going to watch every single television show set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And when I got to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I was cynical, and I thought I was gonna hate it, because I tried watching the show twice before and just could not enjoy it. And when I started season 1, I was overly critical and rolled my eyes at a lot of the dialogue, acting, direction, camera movements, and the editing. I got giddy when they crossed over and addressed the films, and I was enjoying the characters more episode to episode, especially Chloe Bennett's then called Skye. But I was losing hope that I would truly be invested in the series for another 6 seasons. Then everything changed in a second. And from there on, not only was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one of the best things to come out of the MCU, not only was it one of the best things to come out of cable television, it was one of the best things I have ever witnessed from a filmmaking and storytelling perspective. I fell in love with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it all started with this episode starts off like the normal X-Files in the MCU vibe that the first few episodes of season 1 had, with a group of Boy Scouts telling scary stories in front of a campfire. The counselor gets up to use the bathroom in the woods when, off camera, we hear him yell. The group goes to investigate and the counselor's dead corpse is floating in the air, surrounded by sparks of electricity. Of course, our S.H.I.E.L.D. team goes in to find out what had occurred, and as they dig deeper, another person dies the same way, and they believe it to be a murderer. As they investigate further, they notice that all the people that have died were firefighters that served during the Battle of New York. They trace one of the men to this fire station where he is polishing a Chitauri helmet and placing it on a display case. He is sweaty and beady-eyed. Clearly there is something wrong. The SHIELD team goes in to confront him, but they realize that he isn't a murderer because the Chitauri helmet is actually giving off a virus that sends electrical waves shooting out of your skull. If you are infected, you die. Coulson clears the room and attempts to explain to the man that he is about to die. He's having trouble, but the man puts the pieces together himself and realizes what's about to happen. He can feel it. There's no music in this scene. It is played so straight, so real. My mouth fell to the floor the first time I watched this. I was in utter shock. I felt like the man. I was expecting something to happen where they find a cure before he dies, but I felt that wasn't going to be the case. Coulson instead starts to counsel the man into how death was going to feel, since he himself has already died. Coulson allows the man to get his final bit of peace and heads out there before the man blows, and then you witness the death off screen, and Coulson looks terribly defeated. He wasn't that man's shield. He failed to protect him. From here on out, the show has an extremely emotional tone that is present all the way to the very last episode of the series. It never gives up a moment to have real character depth, big or small. The show usually comes to a stop no matter what is happening to give some much needed and well-deserved emotional gut punchers. There is so much love into these characters and their stories. And this scene is everything I love about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. No matter how batshit crazy the show goes in plot, they always ground their characters in the utmost realistic and beautifully broken way possible. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has some of the most realistic character writing and acting I've ever seen in anything. Period. The writers and talent bring their absolute A-game every fucking episode. If you're going to go big with your plot, you go small with your character. If you want us to buy a larger-than-life story, you have to believe in the people it's surrounding. If you were someone that was thinking about watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and thought that 7 seasons would be too long of a show and you don't want to watch it if it's bad, or if you're someone who has watched a few episodes here and there and it didn't catch you yet, go back and give it a try. Get past those first 5 episodes in season 1 at least, and I can guarantee you that there is something special to be had. And to those who might fear a long show, I can promise you, if you watch the whole show and love it the way most do, 7 seasons won't be enough. You'll want more. In conclusion, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a show that I want more people to watch and appreciate. I wanted to be able to convince someone out there to give it a chance because it has some of the realest character work put to a comic adaptation you'll ever see. With some deep themes about humanity and destiny, hope and loss, love and brokenness. Believe it or not, it's a character study of the MCU itself, where the films are about the world of the MCU. The television shows were about the people who inhabit it. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. looks at the consequences of everything these larger-than-life beings do and how it affects everyone else. I highly suggest, if you have a Disney Plus account and love the MCU, go give this one a try. The show deserves it.